Good afternoon. We're going to see if some more people will show up. So we'll give them some more time. Thank you.
We're gonna get started on that chicken fajita power that is just delicious for lunch or dinner.
His house, dressed for his shift at a fast food taco restaurant. He hops into his car and is off. He follows a familiar path to the apartment complex from previous surveillance. Waiting by the curb is the curvy female whose identity remains withheld. They kiss hello and surprise detectives by switching seat assignments. With his companion behind the wheel, Street relaxes in the passenger seat and is driven to his place of employment. He says a quick goodbye to his traveling companion and heads into work. His accomplice of deception drives to
Okay, thank y'all for coming. I was trying to see if I could get my other laptop going. Let me check one more place and I'll be right with you. Just give me 1 second, please. Thank you. Okay, guys, I found it. So while that is connecting, does anyone have any questions about our work, homework, what you should be doing, anything like that? Any questions at all? Okay, so we're going to get started on module 4. And I told some people, but Miss Anita's book has practically everything that you need, but the paper. So you still have to write your paper. But the next couple of units are very, very easy. So we're going to combine some work because the workload is very, very easy. So it's not much to do. So let's see, let me get this right here. So while it is uploading, let's just take a look at where you should be right now. Let me use this right here. So the last mod that we had was week 3. And Miss Anita's book is set up the way your portfolio should be set up. So right now, so you have your cover sheet, your summary of your education, and I'm going to continue to link this example in your book so you'll know how to line it up. Your family questionnaires should be complete. Competency statement standard 1 should be complete. Okay? So you should have this row. Behind your paper, you should have your CPR first aid card, a menu, and a lesson plan. Then you should have competency statement 2. Okay? Behind that, you should have your non-learning experiences. And it should kind of sort of look like this. Gonna keep going because this one is pretty long. And then the last time we spoke, we talked about competency statement 3. Again, you should have your paper. And behind that paper, you should have had 10 developmentally appropriate books about culture, gender identity, special needs, family structure, reproduction, or death. And now we're on competency statement 4. Again, in each class, I will link in your work. So let's talk about our next thing. One moment, I'm sending it to myself. Almost there. Okay, so today we're going to talk about positive guidance techniques and our relationship with with our families. Basically, especially now, our relationship during the pandemic may have changed a little bit with the parents and that are in our care or that the children we take care of. And that was probably because, well, things changed. You know, I think that what got me the most was that people didn't understand the importance of washing their hands. It's like that's something that in childcare we do all the time. We wash our hands, we're constantly wash our hands. We saw parents lose their jobs. Children's schedules were turned upside down because they didn't have structure. Did y'all close any time for the pandemic or did y'all remain open the whole time? Anybody can unmute themselves and tell me that.
Remain open.
Y'all remain open the same time. Okay, the whole time. So what did y'all do that was different?
The parents couldn't drop the kids off like they normally do, so we had to just drop them off in the foyer, and we had to get them from that way.
So the parents had to drop the kids off. Okay. Did y'all lose enrollment?
Yes.
Yeah, y'all did. And I think that now that we're still trying to gain that enrollment back, like it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while for us to get back. Hold on. Nothing popped up for it. Let me see. Hold on, guys. Okay, why didn't this open? Boom, there we go. All right, so let's start the slideshow. All right, so let's get started. So today we're going to talk about positive guidance techniques and ways that we can try to bridge the gap of communication with parents. I don't know, I know a lot of child care networks now, they use, can y'all see my screen? Y'all can see it? Yeah? Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay, great, good.
Yes.
They use iPads to communicate versus paper. And so the hardest part about what we do is parents don't understand the importance of birth through 5 because we get to see a lot of things before the parents. So when we tell them, you know what, such and such is doing this good, but I think they're struggling with this. When a parent comes back and tell us that their child has been diagnosed with autism or ADHD or something, but we already know that. And we have tried to explain that to a parent in the most professional manner, but sometimes they don't listen to us. And so how do we bridge that communication gap is one of our biggest questions that we have. I'm going to be moving this side to side. So let's talk about discipline, punishment, and guidance. So most of the time when people say discipline, they think about hitting. And that's not what discipline is. Discipline is rules. It helps to establish boundaries. And we're all under discipline in some type of way, right? So our discipline in life, one that we can relate to is there's a speed limit. The speed limit is 35. So that's the boundary. On this street, you need to go 35 miles per hour. The punishment or the penalty is if you're going over 35 and a police officer is on that road, you may get a ticket. So the discipline are the rules. That's the boundaries. And that's what we establish in our class. There are rules in our class. The punishment is the consequence for not following those boundaries, okay? So when we think about positive guidance techniques, we think about leadership. So we're going to model the desired behavior that we want. I know sometimes teachers do not get along with the teacher they have been asked to work with, but it's still up to us to model the desired behavior because children can sense the vision. And then we have to guide them. We have to help them make the best choice. And we're talking about children. And then direct them. Some teachers are very directional. They just tell children what to do and expect them to do it. But you have to follow all the way through with children, okay? So why do children misbehave?
Some misbehave because of lack of attention.
Lack of attention. That's a good one. Because if it works, right? You know,
Right.
Get your attention, that's it. Why else do they misbehave? I shouldn't have put my answers on here. Why misbehave? Okay, so I'm gonna go to my next page. Some misbehave because they're not feeling well. And I think sometimes we forget that children are humans. You know, they have feelings. They don't feel well, and they're not always able to articulate how they feel. And unfortunately, parents have to work. And they have to, in order to leave work, they have to go to work. But technically, parents shouldn't be bringing children to school at all. But we know that some places are not as compassionate. I know I misbehave and I'm not myself when I'm hungry. A lot of children lack the appropriate nutrition. And they can be distracted or short-tempered, especially if their basic needs are not being met or if they lack proper diet. You've had that child that has come in and they're eating like hot Cheetos in the morning, and then it has some Kool-Aid, and it has some Sour Patch Kids. And that stuff gives you a rush. But of course, as the day goes down, you have a big sugar crash. And so some children, because they're hungry or they lack the proper diet. Children misbehave because there are issues at home. And a lot of parents think that although children are very resilient and more resilient, like they can adapt to any situation, that doesn't mean that it doesn't affect them. And when I say issues at home, I don't just mean negative things. It could be that now daddy is working double shift, or mom used to work in the morning and she's working at night, or they have moved in with their grandmother. So those are the type of issues that can happen at home. Children misbehave because there are no rules and they're not sure of what to do in the situation. And so as adults, we have experiences, and those experiences help us to make good decisions. But children are learning how to assess a situation, and they have very limited experience. So if you don't have anything to compare that to, then you make up your own rules. And so there's a lack of clear-cut guidelines. And even toddlers should have rules. They should have 3. And those are the things that you have to be consistent with in your class. Someone says they do it to seek attention because it works. They get all of your time and all of your attention. Some children act up because they're overstimulated. There is like just too much going on in your classroom. And so it makes them feel overwhelmed. Now, when we go places, most adults are able to self-regulate. Like when you go in somewhere, you're like, ooh, child, it's a lot going on here. We're able to assess, calm down, and do whatever. But again, children are unable, and they're still developing these skills necessary to self-regulate. And so when they don't have those things, they act out. Well, they have to relieve themselves in some ways. Most children misbehave because they're bored. I like Child Care Network, but I do not like y'all lesson plans. The lesson plans, and I told Ms. Anita, I don't like it because everything doesn't work for everybody. And just because, it worked one time doesn't mean it's going to work again, because each year or each month, your class is constantly changing. And so they're active and they're curious. And sometimes those lesson plans that are developed by corporate doesn't allow you to be creative. So if nothing is intriguing to them, they're going to find things in your classroom that will. And unfortunately, that's something is usually not developmentally appropriate. And so children misbehave because they're bored. They misbehave because of wanting to belong or peer pressure. They see other children doing it, and they see a child playing with the ball, and they want to play with the ball, but they don't know how to go and get in a group or ask them, so they just go and take it, So it's important that we talk to children and guide them through those situations to give them experience with entering into groups. And children also misbehave out of fear. When someone is afraid, the person wants nothing to do with whatever is causing that fear until that fear is removed. That is simple psychology, right? When we're fearful of a dog, we try to get away from the dog. And so children react in that same manner. So whatever is causing the fear should be explained in an appropriate manner. For that. Oh, somebody not me. Okay, there we go. And so that's another reason why a child misbehaves, because of fear. Okay. Any questions? So when you're thinking about discipline in your classroom or a child is acting up, try to think of these factors first. Are they not feeling well? Do they look like they're eating well? Has something changed at home? Do you have clear-cut, consistent rules or guidelines? Do they need a little extra attention? Look around your classroom. Is it overstimulated or understimulated? Because there is such a thing as not having enough materials. Okay. The lesson you're doing, is it bored? Can you just stop doing the lesson and read one of their favorite books or play one of their favorite songs? Are they socially and emotionally ready? Do they have the words or the communication to enter into a group or to know how to play with other children? Are they an only child, or are they the baby? Because we know that when the child is the baby, they get their way. Nobody has to share. Or are they scared? Okay. So the positive guidance techniques that we use mainly are redirection. We use redirection to get the child to focus on something else. We also use positive guidance statements, which is, I worked at a college and we couldn't use the word no or don't. So instead of don't run to the blocks, we would say, let's walk to the blocks, or you can run outside. Inside the building, we walk. So we had to use positive guidance statements when guiding children at all time. And you only use no or stop for things that were like dangerous or an emergency. Because if a child hears no, stop, don't all the time, they kind of turn a blind ear. That's not a deaf ear to it. They don't pay attention anymore. Natural and logical consequences. This means that the punishment, whatever they do, they do the crime, they do the time, right? So if a child spills paint, they need to help you clean up the paint. If a child throws a block, then they need to be removed from blocks, okay? Limited choices. Do not give a child a choice unless they can really have it. So you don't want to ask them, what do you want to drink? Well, I want to drink a Coca-Cola. Well, you don't have a Coca-Cola, and I can't give you that. So you have to limit their choices. Do you want water or juice? Well, I want a Coca-Cola. You can only have water or juice. So you set the standard and limit that choice and only give them choices that are available. That works, with the centers. I want to go to dramatic play. Dramatic play is full. You can go to science or blocks. Give the child the choice that you want them to have. We use timeout, but rarely, because timeout is not for children. Timeout is for the adult to calm down, not the child. So what usually happens is children get in timeout and teachers forget that they're there because they're sitting there so quietly. You always have to revisit the child and talk to them about what occurred and the desired behavior that you want. So remember, timeout isn't for the child to calm down, it's for you to calm down. I'm older, so I remember back in the 80s and 90s, we had like a whole lot of child abuse cases on TV. They used to come on the news and it would be like, count down, count to 10. So that's what timeout is. It's for the parent or the adult to calm down because that child is taking them there. Or you can just simply ignore the behavior. I think sometimes as teachers, we want our classroom to be perfect, and we want to control the situation. But you have to think about it. When you are upset, can anybody talk to you? Can anybody calm you down? So you want to ignore that negative behavior. If that child is having a temper tantrum, let them. The director come in there, which they always do. I'm a director too. Oh, what's going on? Oh, they're having a temper tantrum. They're upset. Then just allow that to happen. I mean, what can you do? Nothing. Because the more you try to calm them down, the angrier they get. So ignore the negative and reinforce the positive. Remember, when you're communicating with the parents, keep it professional. I think a lot of people, I know of a couple of friendships that have developed from a teacher-parent relationship, but I don't tell parents my personal business. I'm not friends with them on Facebook. I'm none of those things, because once you go personal, you can never go professional again. So keep it professional. Talk to them about their child. Don't talk about the other children. Don't talk about the other parents. Whenever they're allowed to come back in your classroom to pick up. Any questions? Okay, what time is it?
Are you showing, excuse me, are you showing slides? Because I can't see your slides. I just see the one that has toddler talk up.
Y'all don't see a picture of a little girl?
I don't.
Who else don't? Miss Janet, can you see it?
No.
I done had a whole thing up. Can y'all see this?
I see it now.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything else on the
I
first
asked y'all,
page
could
you
y'all
put
see
up.
my, I said, can y'all see my little thing? Hold on, so y'all, let me go back here. So did y'all see this?
No.
So those are the factors of why children misbehave. These are the positive guidance techniques that we talked about.
Okay.
And this is when I talked about just keeping it professional, okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's go through, we're gonna do about 2 of these. When it comes to a parent, first of all, every parent think their child is smart, and then that's fine, because everybody is smart in their own way. But you have this little girl in your classroom, and she's 3 years old, and she's able to recall things. She's very, very smart, but her daddy is concerned that she cannot write her name, and he wants you to give her worksheets so she can practice writing her name. What do you do? What can you say?
I probably would say that we have to remember that she's only 3 years old. She is just learning, scribbling, she can draw. She might be a child that can write, but, it's not expected for her to actually know how to write her name right now.
There we go. It's not expected. And like you said, drawing can do it. Coloring, scribbling, all those things will build up her fine motor skills. But right now, it's not expected. And eventually she will learn how to write her name, right?
Right.
That's what we do. All right. Good job. Let's not do this. So we have now a lot of grandparents taking care of their children's children. And so you have this grandmother, Miss Barbara, not you, Miss Barbara,
It's okay.
who comes in, and she has custody of her 2-year-old grandson. And she doesn't like a lot of the policies of the center. She doesn't like the new way of doing things. And she tells you that if this little boy misbehaves, that you need to spank him. And so as a result, the director stopped speaking to her because she's uncomfortable, and the teacher stopped speaking to her because they're just uncomfortable and would not, they don't want to deal with her request. What would you say to her? Uh-oh. Anybody?
That you can say, relate to her that we cannot do that. That's not part of our job description. We cannot discipline in that way. That is up to the parents. We can't do that. We can only guide him in a different direction to go, you know, in some form or fashion.
Right. Like we can't be putting our hands on children, you know, and what you do at home is what you do at home, but here we communicate with the child. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to talk about the homework that we have.
Okay. Okay.
So let me see which one it is. Is this one? Can y'all see my thing? It says competency statement 4. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay. So competency statement 4, again, is about establishing relationships with parents. And so you're going your opening paragraph, which you can keep or not. You're just explaining why it's important to have a relationship with the parents, and what comes out of having a great relationship with the parents in your care. Then you're going to give me a paragraph of how do you ensure that the children, the parents of the children in your classroom, that they're kept aware of what's going on. And that could be sending home, I think, daily sheets or weekly sheets. You can have something in the classroom. But again, here's a paragraph, and this portfolio will be linked into your classroom, so you'll know, you have an idea of what to write. And then how do you make yourself aware of what's going on in the child's home life? You know, basically we ask, hey, Tasha used to take naps. She's not taking naps anymore. Is everything okay? Did he or she have a good night's sleep? And some parents do get embarrassed of things, and they're not going to tell you the whole thing. Some of them think that, you know, you're going to go back and say something, but we've all went through a hard time. And so just let them know, hey, this is just between me and you. I just want to make sure that I'm able to support Tasha the best way I can. So right here, you're going to give me like 5 to 7 sentences. How do you ensure that you're aware of what's happening in the child's home life? Now, for your resource collection, you have to create a family resource guide. Miss Anita practically has this, but she's missing a couple of things. So I'm just going to go through it with you. so you'll know. So in your county, you need to look up a family counselor. And you have to, and I would just use Google family counselor in what county is that Houston?
Yep.
Bibb County, family counselor in Bibb County, and you're going to type in the agency name, phone number, website, address in the box provided. You're going to look for translation services in Bibb County. Again, the name of the agency, phone number, website, address. You're going to look for American Sign Language translators in Bibb County. Agency name, phone number, address. A place that helps children with disabilities in Bibb County. You see what, it's the same thing. The name of the place, phone number, website, address. And then you're going to look up 3 websites that help children 3 through 5. And you're going to put the name of that website there. And then you're going to print 1 article from the website that will help a child 3 to 5. That's her article. Well, she printed an article from each site, which is fine. And then for competency statement 5, you're going to talk about the importance of, do y'all do observations, documentation? Okay. Well, you're going to talk about the importance of it. And of course, you'll have this here. As a matter of fact, since y'all don't do it, because I don't understand why y'all don't, just you.
I'm not for sure. I don't think we do. I'm not for sure.
Okay. So you have this introduction, and you're going to talk about here why it's important, or this introduction talks about the importance of recording like accidents or incidents, the importance of record keeping, you know, because you want to yourself, basically. But you have this introduction here, so you could keep that. And if you have the observations in your class, what's the purpose of doing an observation? You want to know what the child knows, so you'll know what you need to teach. Okay, I would just use these paragraphs, copy paste, because if you don't do it, then I think it's very hard to write about. Okay, so I would just copy this stuff. And then lastly, you're going to give me record keeping forms. You're going to get me an accident report, an emergency form, and a completed observation form. So this is y'all's accident report, right?
All right.
You're going to give me a copy of that. This is an emergency form. Scratch out the child's name, or you can give me a blank one. And then look online and get me a completed observation form. So I'm gonna do this one more time. For competency statement 5, you're just gonna basically copy paste these paragraphs into the correct box. You're going to give me 3 samples of these forms. An accident report, emergency contact form, and a completed observation form. And you could just Google observation form for 2-year-olds completed. and you should get an example one. Let's see if I can. Or you know what? Just give me a blank one. I'll link this into your class and just this out.
Do you want us to fill out the incident report though?
No, you don't have to. It could be blank.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put this in your classroom
Okay.
and they'll say print this form out.
Okay.
Okay? And that's it. We're almost finished with the class. So when we meet the next time, that should be our last class, and we'll just put everything together. I need to, in your on your main page, you need to start getting stuff ready for your scholarship paperwork. So I'll ask you to send me a couple of things. Just your address, what you want your credential in, and a paper you need to get notarized. So when I do come back down there, I probably won't be back until August. We can send everything out for your scholarships. Everything can be ready to go. But any questions about homework or anything like that? Okay.
I think I'm okay right now.
You think you're okay right now as far
I
as
think.
it's okay. Y'all.
I got to get on it and start doing it, and then that's when I start getting confused.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's not easy to do it online. I try to make it as simple as possible, but I just don't see myself teaching face-to-face anymore. Everything for me will be online because I realize, I miss a lot of time with my family traveling on Saturday. So I'm just going to try to make it as easy as possible. And when it's time for me to check y'all stuff, we'll get everything. I'll be down there probably for a couple of hours to make sure everything is done. So if you don't have it together, we'll get it together.
When will you be here? When will you be coming?
Let's see. Now that's what I really have to figure out because I'm a director and my school is closed right now. It opens back up August 16th. So I probably won't be able to come down there until close to almost the end of August. So we have plenty of time to,
okay.
It's not going to be like next week,
Okay.
have plenty of
Because I
time.
thought you had said you was coming July 30th. That's what I was like, when are you coming?
Yeah, but we're not done yet. We were
Okay.
done by then, but people were confused and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, right.
but now that everybody seems to be on the same track and Miss Anita knows what needs to be done, I'm just going to give it a while because I have to start. Our summer break is over now. So I have to return to work soon.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, I will see. What's today? The 16th. I will be back with y'all on the, it's going to probably have to be the 23rd because I have a youth conference on the 30th. What's today, the 9th? Yes.
Today the 10th.
Okay, I'll get back with y'all on the 24th. Okay, good. So I will talk to y'all again on the 24th, and I will try to have everything loaded up in your classroom as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay? Have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.